Hey boys, welcome back to the channel. It's going to be the round 5 review. Going to be going through the games, given my detailed analysis, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So first off, the Thursday night Rabbitohs v Broncos. I was honestly, so this is the first game this year that I've really been disappointed with the Broncos. Honestly, the effort just didn't seem like it was there. Like pretty much all the other games, like even the games that they've lost by a bit of a margin, I feel like there's been okay signs. I feel like some of their players have looked pretty good, even with some of the lopsided scorelines, and they've been in a few of the games they lost. But this game, and what makes it worse is the fact that I didn't tip the Bronx, but you know, without Cody Walker, I gave the Broncos a sneaky chance at an upset in this one. But yeah, they played just miserably. They were not good at all. We'll go through here. For the Rabbits, you know, Benji stepping in for Cody Walker was fantastic. Benji, he just keeps going, dude. I saw a comment on, I think it was Twitter, that you know, the only club Benji hasn't really played well for is the Dragons, and it's probably pretty fair. Like I think even at the Dragons he was okay, but it's probably the one club where he's gone to he hasn't. I don't know, his form was probably down, but you know, his time at the Broncos he filled in nicely. You know, when he went back to the Tigers, I thought he was good. I'm surprised that they got rid of him, in all honesty. I can understand the Tigers wanting to move forward, but Benji, I thought was pretty good for them last year. And now at the Rabbitohs, he's done a fantastic job, and he played well, much to my dismay. Adam Reynolds again controlling the game. I'm shocked that the Rabbitohs are gonna potentially let him go, or not. They're not gonna let him go, but I don't know. I think Reynolds. I know a lot of people are saying he's overrated, but dude, I think Reynolds is a quality halfback, and you know, I think a lot of clubs could use him. Broncos, Cowboys, I think they're probably the front runners to want him. Maybe the Tigers, but yeah, Reynolds was solid. Latrell Mitchell, once again, very, very devastating. Dane Gagai has probably shown. I mean, Gagai, you know, he's been a great player for a long time, and I think sometimes people, because he's so good in Origin, people sometimes, you know, write off his club form. But dude, the start of this year, he has been in some of the best form he's been in a long time. And then the forward pack was pretty solid, but on the flip side, the Broncos. We'll talk about Milford for a second, because he's sort of the guy that's copying most of the criticism, and I've been pretty impressed with Milford at the start of the year. I'm not going to lie. I think his kicking game has been really good. I think he's taken the line on more than he had last year, and I've been somewhat impressed with Milford to start the year. But this game, I don't know what happened, but it honestly looked like he didn't want to be there, which is disappointing. Kicking game, I don't know why the game plan changed, but you know, for the start of this year, his like floating bombs have been, you know, very, very good. But for some reason this game, he just kept punting it in the air, just end over end. The kicking game was abysmal. I don't know why I don't know. It was a strange game. Milford looked like he didn't want to be there. So yeah, I don't know. I think Milford's probably he's probably done at the Broncos, and I think for the Broncos and for him, it's probably the best thing. I have no doubt. I think Milford, you know, wherever he ends up, I don't know, it might be Super League. If another club takes a punt on him, I think he can get back to some form. I think he's, you know, I think his time at the Broncos, he just sort of spun his wheels for a long time now. But I think, you know, a change of scenery, a change of sort of, you know, face, I guess, can do wonders for Milford. I still think he's got a lot left in him. He's still only really young, so he's got time, and I think it's best for him and the Broncos that he moves on from the club, unfortunately. Other than that, I mean, Kenner, I cannot believe he got the spot in centres over pretty much anyone they could choose from. I do not like Kenner at all. Not a fan. I think you can stick him on the wing if need be, and he can do an okay job. But in the centres, my God, just abysmal. Tessie New, defensively, he wasn't the best in this game. I'm still honestly pretty impressed with New, dude. He looks dangerous every time he touches it, but they exposed his defensive a little bit this game for sure. But they're talking about dropping him, which I'd be pretty frustrated if they dropped Tessie. I think he's been really good to start the year. I know some people may disagree, but I've been impressed with him, and obviously Herbie Farnworth was missing, but the two centres, I think they've done a pretty good job at the Bronx. But then, the forward pack, Matt Lodge, again, just I don't know what happened to Lodge, dude. I don't know if he's still playing injured. I don't know what, but he's shown like no aggression these last couple of years now, and He's been worthless. He's been absolutely worthless, dude. Jake Turpin, Turpin. I've been disappointed with Turpin as well. I feel like his game has gone downhill. There's a couple of years ago where he burst on the scene. I'm like, Turpin, he's a long-term option here, but I don't know. He's sort of, his running game has just gone to nothing. Disappointing to say the least. And then the rest of the forward pack, they were okay. They were okay. But the forward pack they should be performing better than they are. Because I mean, you look on paper, dude. This forward pack, I would say on paper it's a stronger forward pack, stronger starting pack than the Rabbitohs. Obviously, Cook is much better than Turpin, but the rest of the forwards, I mean, come on, like they shouldn't be getting belted up the middle like they have been. But this was the first game I was very disappointed with the Broncos' performance. And now they're going to be taking on the Panthers this week. So could be another rough week coming up, but I expect a bit of a bounce back from the Bronx. But Rabbitohs too good, Broncos too damn bad. Too damn bad, dude. Next up, we had the Warriors Seagulls. Now, I'm going to be honest, this game was a stinker. Oh man, this was a boring game. It was awful. This game was just absolutely atrocious. I honestly, both of these teams didn't deserve 2 points from this, but the Seagulls, I'm not surprised the Seagulls got it in the end, because I mean, Cherry Evans, if there's one thing he's pretty solid at is kicking a 1-pointer at the end of a game. He's pretty good at the 1-pointer. And the Warriors, they didn't look like they were gonna they didn't look like they were gonna get a field goal. But I don't know. I mean, Tuivasa-Sheck was good again. Dylan Walker suffered an injury. It was a weird injury, I'm not going to lie, but obviously not good. I don't know what it eventually was. Obviously, like a high hamstring injury. Weird way to happen for sure. It's not, you feel a little bit bad for him the way it happened, but other than that, I mean, any standouts? Honestly, I actually think Marcelo Montoya has looked pretty good coming into the Warriors center. I liked him at the Dogs. I know a lot of Dogs fans probably didn't like Montoya. He's got a few errors. Defensively, he can be a little shaky, but I just like his aggression. He gets into it. And I actually think center is not a bad spot for him going forward. So I'm pretty impressed with Montoya so far. Nikorima, O'Sullivan, solid, but just couldn't really capitalize on their possession. I mean, both teams just couldn't really do much with the footy, in all honesty. The forward pack, obviously no Adam Fanor-Blake is a massive loss. It's still a good forward pack, but I've got to be honest, Aliasa Katoa, he's got to play 80 minutes. I think they are underusing him so much. Last year, he burst on and he was an absolute monster. Very similar to Kikau, and I love him as a player. I think he's just an absolute beast. But the way they're using him now, because they've got Ben Murdoch-Masila, they're bringing Murdoch-Masila on for Katoa, and Katoa's barely playing like 40 minutes, I feel like. And I'm just like, dude, I feel like he's got to play more minutes. He's such a weapon. I know Murdoch-Masila is as well, but I don't know. I just feel like their forward balance, it's very strong, but I don't know. I just feel like they're using some of the players a bit wrong. God, Katoa's got to play more minutes, in my opinion. But it is tough. I mean, they do have such a strong forward pack that where do you find the minutes? Because Tohu plays basically 80. Tavanga plays big minutes. Murchie is now playing 80. So it's sort of tough. And then on the flip side, the Manly side, I mean, dude, like some of their forwards, I mean, Jake, I know they still talk up Jake all the time, but God, he has been underwhelming. I always thought Trbojevic was pretty overrated without his brother in the team. Obviously very strong defensively, but he doesn't really offer much at lock. So I think he's been very disappointing to start the year. Marty Tapau, he's been just incredibly disappointing. The one guy here, Taniela Paseka, oh man, he was the one guy that was causing all sorts of grief. And it's just, dude, if you threw Tom Trbojevic was playing this game, they would have scored, I reckon they scored 4 or 5 tries. Taniela Paseka, every time he touched the ball, he burst through a tackle. He had the arm free. I think he did set up one try with the offload, but he had so many offloads, so many chances for the fullback or a half to come swooping in and get away, but no one supported him. I'm like, what is happening? It's not like he did it once every few runs or once a game he got the offload. It was nearly every run he had the arm free, just waiting for someone. But yeah, that's their biggest issue, just not supporting the big fella here, Paseka. They had so many chances, but other than that, I mean, not too much else to talk about. It was a lackluster game. Manly got the 2 points, and not good for the Warriors, honestly. Like, I feel like that game sort of illustrates that they're just not a top 8 team, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see if they can turn it around. Then we had the Panthers v Raiders. Now this game, I mean, dude, the Panthers can be annoying to watch, and some of their players, you know, you do want them to just get belted occasionally, but I'm not going to lie, a little bit of niggle and a little bit of aggression, it makes the games very exciting. I do love a little bit of niggle in matches. Obviously, you can't fight anymore. I sometimes reminisce about the old days where, you know, every like there'd be a couple of games a week where there'd be a blue on, and they were good times, dude. But now, you know, a bit of niggle, it gets the teams fired up, and obviously it's a bit annoying, like when players are niggly, and it can just be a little bit, you know, it is what it is. But it gets the opposition fired up as well. Like, it just makes the game more aggressive as a whole. So the Panthers, you know, way too good for the Raiders. Obviously, the Raiders, big loss with Chance. How do you pronounce his name now? Nico Klokstad? Dude, I don't know. He changed the way it's pronounced. But Chansey, he obviously suffered that concussion, and well, it's coming out now that he's got like a bulging disc in his neck, which is, yeah, pretty bad news for Chance. I don't know if it was necessarily from that tackle or, you know, a pre-existing injury, but obviously a huge loss to lose your fullback early on in the game. It is a weird one because, I mean, Kikau, you know, no real ramification from that. And I mean, you know, and it's a tough one because watching it live, he got him high, but it wasn't, I mean, at the time you weren't like, oh, he should be sin bin for that. That's a terrible high shot. It was sort of like, oh yeah, it's a lazy shot. But then, you know, he goes off and he doesn't play the rest of the game. It's like, well, you know, the Panthers get a bit fortunate there. So it's one of those tricky ones that I don't know. It didn't seem that bad at the time, but it had a huge impact on the game. But yeah, I mean, Jerome Luai has been in great touch. Due to the start of the year, I was like, surely teams are gonna, put more pressure on him and not just come racing up, but sort of the whole line goes forward and stops him from just doing what he likes. But they haven't, and I mean, it's not as easy as what I make it seem. He's a tough man to handle, but yeah, teams have not found a way to shut Jerome Luai down. And honestly, out of these two, I mean, Luai has been the number one here. Nathan Cleary has obviously been solid, but I mean, Jerome Luai is the guy that's causing all sorts of havoc. He's the guy that's setting up all the tries. So, Cleary's just steering him around with good kicking games, and Luai is the guy that's putting them to the sword. So yeah. Forward pack, once again, very strong, very solid. No one, didn't do their job. No one really stood out. I mean, Kickout, obviously, every time he touches it, he's just an absolute monster. Man, oh man, he's just, God, he'd be tough to tackle. He's just so fast and strong. I mean, there's a few of them. Feeder, Kickout, Tamalolo. So yeah, there's a couple going around that just absolute nightmares. And like I said before, Katoa, not quite at that level, but last year he was getting there. And then for the Raiders, I mean, I thought Hudson Young was good. But yeah, the rest of the forward, it just, I don't know. They tried to match it with them, but I was a little bit disappointed with the Raiders, in all honesty. They talked it up. They were saying that they were the best forward pack in the comp. So, I think they went missing a little bit in this game. Their forwards. I was expecting a little bit more fire from them, especially with the Panthers giving them some. So yeah, the Raiders, a little bit disappointing. But like I said, I keep saying that the Raiders, I don't think are as up there is what people think. I still think they're a good team and they'll make the top 8, but I don't think they're at the top level like they were a couple of years ago. But again, you got to factor in the Nickel Clockstad concussion, massive loss, and it big sort of switches to their team with the fullback going down. But yeah, Panthers continue the winning streak, and like I said, they're taking on the Broncos, so you wouldn't expect them to lose another one anytime soon. Then we have, oh boy, the Titans v the Knights. Now, obviously, the Knights had a lot of players missing, so the Titans were definitely favourites. But geez, the Titans looked really good. I was really impressed with just. Not so much like I was impressed with their overall performance as well, but just some of the plays, they had a few sneaky little plays, especially this man here, Jared Wallace. Like he sort of burst on the scene at the Broncos. He looked really good. Went to the Titans, and he's been pretty, he hasn't quite lived up to his reputation, I would say. But he came up with some really good plays, dude. Like off the kickoff, throwing the nice cutout ball to Corey Thompson. Just the Titans are coming up with a few little sneaky plays and I think that's how they got to play. They got a good team, but I think for them to go well, they do have to be an attacking style team. I don't think they're going to be a team that can keep teams to 0, but they to win games, they're going to have to score 30 plus. So yeah, with plays like that, dude, I was impressed with how they went. Obviously, Philip Sammy went down early, which made a bit of a switch, but I mean, the Brimson Ponga matchup was pretty solid. Brimson was great. Kalen, dude, oh man, people love to hate on Kalen Ponga just because Fox Sports and Channel 9 talk him up so much. I've said this before, but like, why would they not? Like, he's a very good player. He's clean in terms of he hasn't done anything wrong. He's not a troublemaker. Like, why would the NRL not talk him up? Why would they not advertise Ponga? But people don't like it when a player gets talked up all the time, and Ponga is that guy. But man, he's a good player. Dude, people saying he's overrated, just absolute drop kicks, man. There's such morons. It's unreal. Ponga was really good in his comeback match. I mean, he scored that one scintillating try, and defensively, I mean, he had a rough time. Like, just the constant line breaks. He did a good job on one of them with Brimson. He rounded him up, but Brimson got the nice little pass around the shoulder. There wasn't much more. There wasn't much more Kalyn Ponga could do in that onslaught. But I was pretty impressed with his comeback game. There's going to be some options. There's going to be some options for the fullback Queensland spot this year. It'll be interesting to see. I would imagine Brimson probably gets the 14 and Ponga the starting fullback, but we'll see. We'll see. Other than that, Corey Thompson. I know the commentators are now starting to say it all the time as well, but geez, he is an underrated player. Pretty much every club he has been to. I mean, I remember back in the day at the Dogs, he was great at the Bulldogs. I was surprised when they let him and who was the other? They had a couple of good young outside backs in that team back then. I can't think of the name. He went to Union, one of them. Oh, what was his name, dude? Oh, it's completely lost. Oh, I've lost it. But he was a really good centre, or was he the winger? I can't remember the name. But Corey Thompson, he's just so good. He makes, for a little guy, really strong. He never gets bent back in tackles. He's so quick. He's so, man, he must be so tough to tackle. He's built low. He's fast as anything. And the footwork, dude. Oh man, he's what a player. Honestly, for a winger, he does so much good work. And then Fogarty, Taylor were all pretty solid. I mean, Dave Fafita obviously was enormous. I mean, he made the Knights' defense look a little bit childish at times. It was a bit embarrassing to watch at points. Tino, I mean, didn't really see any footy at all. So, it was pretty much the David Fafita. Tyrone Peachy was really good. Jared Wallace. So their forward pack stood up, and Mo Fodawaker played bigger minutes with Sammy going out. He was great. But yeah, the Knights, very disappointing. Obviously, like I said, they were missing a lot of players, but look at the forward pack still. Clemmer, Brayley, Saifidi, Frizzell, Barnett, and Randall, who unfortunately suffered a serious injury. But that forward pack, dude, they should have stood up better than that. Missing a lot of players, but still a strong pack that got absolutely brutalized by the Titans. So yeah, the Titans really good. I was very impressed with the way they went about it, and yeah, very, very, very good win for the Titans. They're starting to come good. They were a little bit disappointing early in the season, but they're starting to show a little bit of that hype around them. Then we have the Storm v the Bulldogs. So unsurprisingly, the Storm fairly triumphant victors here. I'm sure Bellamy would be rather unimpressed with the 18 points let in. But I mean, their attack was very good. Some of the tries they scored were just, oh man, they can score some absolute beauties, dude. And yeah, they played well. It is what it is. It was always going to happen. Everyone just did their job. It was great to see Harry Grant back. He, as soon as he came on the field, he hasn't lost it. It was always a little bit, how's he going to factor into this Storm team? He was so good at a pretty weak Tigers team last year. Is he going to be even better? Is he going to be worse? But he just slotted in so nicely. He's going to be a great addition to this Storm attack. It's going to be tough to beat the Storm full strength. And then on the flip side, the Dogs. I mean, Luke Thompson, he was good. I know he was probably their best forward by a fair margin. I actually thought so. Kyle Flanagan, I've actually thought he's been okay to start the year. He had a bit of a shocker. Some very ordinary kicks and just didn't really get into the game at all. Jake Averillo, 100% had his best game of the year, but he's very, I mean, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again, like he is just not up to it defensively at the moment. He showed that he's got the skills, he's got the attacking ability, but you know, if he's going to be the long-term 5'8", like he needs to be, his defense needs to improve a lot. He actually reminds me quite a bit of Drinkwater in that sense. Like both can score points and create some attack, but man, the defense for those two guys, it's just not quite up to standard. But you know, he's a young kid, so he's obviously got talent, and they're sort of riding on him to, well, not really though. Because Burton's going to the club next year, so I don't really know where that leaves Averillo. Maybe into the centres probably, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Other than that, I mean, yeah, not too much else to really say. They looked okay. I mean, the Dogs, they looked a little bit better than they have, is what I'll say about the Dogs. But yeah, it was always going to be a tough game for them regardless. The Roosters v Sharks. So this game, I cannot believe the Roosters won this 26-18. They scored. Oh man, they just they turned it on in the last 5-10 minutes. Sam Walker, I mean, he did it again, dude. Sam Walker, future Queensland halfback in the making. He's something special for sure. He's, you know, very small frame. I think he is going to get targeted. He's not going to be able to do that every week, but geez, he pulled them out of the fire. Like it wasn't Tedesco, it wasn't Morris, it wasn't Angus Crichton. It was Sam Walker that won them that game. I mean, a couple of those passes, the try off his own bat, like he won them the game, which is, I mean, it's very impressive for an 18-year-old to do. So yeah, the Roosters, I wasn't that impressed, but they won. The Sharks, I thought, were the better team overall, but they just let it slip. You know, obviously a couple of concussions again, Josh Dugan and Wade Graham going off. So you know, bit unfortunate again for the Sharkies. I can't be too, you know, upset for the Sharks. It, you know, made it tough, but they were in the winning position. They just let it slip. I don't even know what happened. It just happened in a blink of an eye. I thought the game was done and dusted. I thought the Sharks were pretty good, but yeah, the Roosters somehow snatched it. William Kennedy, dude, he is turning into quite the fullback. Tedesco, once again, you know, does what he does best. Brett Morris just cannot stop scoring tries. I don't know what is happening. He's in better form than I've ever seen him. Like, he's obviously been like a great winger for a long time, but I've never seen him play this well. I honestly, maybe he has, and I'm just sort of misremembering. I've always thought he is the better Morris twin, 100%. Like, he's the better player, but man, he is just untouchable. Like, he's just breaking tackles, defensively strong. So yeah, Brett Morris has gone to another level. And then the forward pack was pretty strong for the Roosters. And yeah, the Sharks, like I said, I thought they were the better team overall, but just couldn't finish it off. So yeah, Sam Walker stood up and delivered. Unbelievable. Then we move on to West Tigers Cowboys. So this one, oh man, the Tigers, you know, everything to play for in this one. You know, obviously the Tommy Raudonikis factor. You know, a big crowd. Like, it was a disappointing first half. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, it was a good first half for us. I thought the Cowboys looked really sharp with footy in hand, but for the Tigers to dish up that in the first half, man, that was a weak effort. Well, I'll talk quickly about the no try. Obviously, there's a bit of drama around the no try, but it was the correct decision. I mean, the fucking Channel 9 commentators, Gould and Johns or whoever else was there, they can carry on as much as they want that they shouldn't be getting involved. But I mean, the correct call was a no try. Like, I don't. It's just so dumb, dude. They want their cake and eat it, and to eat it too. Like, they want the decisions to be correct. If there's a wrong decision, they'll replay it and replay it and crucify the ref. But if they take too long or they stop a remarkable comeback, then they're getting involved in the game when they don't need to be. What are you talking about? Obviously, the Tigers, it would have been a miraculous comeback. It doesn't mean they would have won even if they scored that try regardless. But, you can't dictate decisions based on the how the game is going. Like, it was clear. It was a clear-cut no try. That's how they're ruling it. He stopped in the line. It stopped... I think it was Cohen Hess. It stopped him from sliding, and who knows? I mean, the try probably would have still been scored, but that you can't judge on that. It's how the rule is. So the fact that they're carrying on about that is it's nonsense. The correct call was made. It was a no try. And for the most part, I think the Cowboys deserve to win this game. The Tigers. It's one of those ones where, you've got nothing to lose. You're just throwing the ball around, and things were sticking at the second half there. But they were ordinary. And I think, they're a little bit fortunate to get back into 34-30. It was an exciting game though. It was a good game to watch, and I was impressed with the Cowboys. I mean, disappointed with their defensive effort in the second half. It's just like. The Cowboys have been so bad, and it's like you're in a position 28-6. Like, how do you not have that killer instinct? Like, you've been getting flogged every week. How do you not have the killer mindset to be like, we are going to put 50 on this Tigers team? Like, it's strange to me. Like, it's a team that's going well in the comp. Like, I can sort of understand sort of the switch off a little bit because it happens all the time. But a team that's getting belted, like, how do you not want to do that to another team? I don't know. But yeah, the Cowboys. I mean, Fido scored one of the best tries you'll see. Oh man, he gets talked up a lot, and I'm still yet to really be convinced that he's a center, but he can move. He can definitely move. And honestly, his defense actually has been okay. Honestly, I'm happy Connolly Lemuelu. Dude, I can't, in my Cowboys career, I can't say his name either, but I've had him in my Cowboys career on the game, and I was surprised he didn't get a start at the start of the year. I think he's a good player. He's a good, strong, young center. Pretty good signs there. Murray Tuolangi scored a great try as well. And then Scott Drinkwater, I mean, very similar to Avarillo, like I was saying, can do some great things, but man, his defense is weak. Like, good lord, Adam Dewey, every time he would run just straight and hard, and Drinkwater just doesn't put the shoulder in. It takes like 3 or 4 Cowboys to pull down Dewey, he's a strong boy, but I mean, you can't let your 5'8", you can't let the opposing 5'8" take 3 men to stop him, and then it just leads to tries elsewhere. So yeah, and then the forward pack, it was stronger than usual. I like Shane Wright starting in the back row. Ben Condon looks like a good young player. Francis Molo had a good game, and then Burr was good, Cotter was good, and Jensen were their bench forwards all was pretty solid. And then the Tigers, I mean, again, they came back strongly, but yeah, they were disappointing, dude. They were very disappointing to dish up that. I know it's a bit weird saying because they only lost by 4 points, but I don't know. I just, it's one of those ones where they just had nothing left to lose. I guess they were in a position where they were playing, just behind. It's a weird one, but it's easier to play when you're like that. And then the Dragons v the Eels. So the Dragons, I'm surprised with the Dragons, honestly. I thought they were playing really good, and Ben Hunt was playing some of the best he's played in a long time. And then when Ben Hunt got that injury, I thought, they might be able to still, play okay, but I thought they were no chance. But they've proved me wrong, dude. Without Ben Hunt, they're still performing. Their forwards are actually starting to play to some of their potential, and they're just playing like it's a weird one because I mean, it's Anthony Griffin. Like, he did this at the Broncos, and I'm still surprised that the Broncos got rid of Griffin when they did, because I think it was after like Lockyer and a few other big names left. The Broncos had another rough sort of period, not as long as or as bad as it is now, but they had a rough time there for a while. And, you know, they had a lot of young guys. They had a lot of sort of no-name plays for a while, but they played tough. Like, they played just putting on big hits. They got up quick in defense. It wasn't pretty at times, but they were a tough team to come up against. And you know, the Broncos, they got rid of Griffin, you know, for whatever reason. I was a little bit surprised and I was a bit disappointed, but Griffin has gone to the Dragons and has sort of done the same thing. Like, they're just playing an aggressive style of footy, like, and that it's good to watch. I like watching it. They're up in the face. The outside backs are getting into it. Ravalawa was unbelievable. Lomax, even Bird was pretty good. And then the forward pack. I do like Josh Kerr in the back row. He's been very good. Tyrell's been incredible. McCulloch has been really good for the Dragons. And then on the flip side, I mean, the Eels were disappointing. Like, I don't know. They just didn't match it. Like, and it's sort of been the issue with the Eels. Like, they can play some really great footy. They can score some incredible tries, and they can beat up on weaker teams. But when a team matches them and goes at their forwards, it's happened before where they just don't fire back up. They don't like to be matched. They don't like to be belted, basically. And I mean, no forward pack, I guess, does, but the Eels, they've got a bit of a habit of that. They got play, like, I mean, Campbell Gillard, Nathan Brown, Paulo, Lane. These guys, they love to dish it out, but when they cop it back, like, sometimes they don't stand back up. So it's sort of what happened in this game. The Dragons just dominated them from play one, basically. So very impressive. The Dragons, they've sort of had the mantle though for a while now, that they look incredible the first few rounds of the comp. I think, was it last year that they were leading, or was it the year before? They do it all the time where they look really good at the start of the year, and you're like, oh, the Dragons, they're back, and then I don't know what happens, but they fall away. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to continue, but we'll see if the trend breaks or whatnot. But good win from the Dragons. So that's the round 5 review. Some good games of footy for sure. Quite a few upsets, or a couple of upsets, I guess. But yeah, hopefully guys are enjoying the rugby league content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.